Greetings all, and welcome back to Globbits Gaming Channel. And boy have I got a doozy for you today. This is IceMan 512. He's platooned up with Die 9500, and IceMan is driving his Pershing. Alright, it's the Tier 8 American medium tank, but it's not really a medium tank really. It's only classified as a medium tank in game for balancing purposes. It's basically a main battle tank. The Pershing's one of those vehicles that has kind of suffered from the power creep within World of Tanks. And what I mean by power creep is, as new tanks come into the game, tanks like the Pershing kind of get left behind. You've got your STA-1s now, and tanks like that, which kind of, in some ways, are better than the tanks preceding them. And as the meta changes, tanks like poor old Pershy here tend to fall by the wayside, as it were. Now, 90mm cannon on this thing. Standard rounds have 180mm of penetration for 240 alpha damage. APCR rounds have 268. Now this for me is what makes this tank competitive. I actually quite like my Pershing. I believe the Pershing has a place in Tier 8 competitive gameplay. Unfortunately at this year's WGL leagues, to be honest with you, there weren't that many Pershings and heavy tanks and medium tanks used. It was all the fast lightweight tanks like your T-54 lightweights and that ilk, RU-251s and all that kind of stuff. But I think Pershy's still got it, hence the title of the replay. Pershy's still got it. And what IceMan's going to do now, he's going to take a nice prominent position in the J2 area. Now I like coming here in my heavy tanks. What makes the Pershing good then? Its gun is okay. As you can see there, it's quite capable of going through Tier 7 mediums, Comets for example, and its frontal plate, as we just demonstrated there by the Cromwell B, is okay. The armour's okay on this tank. The big advantage of this vehicle is its ability to go hull down. Now, if you don't know what hull down is, alright, get your backsides onto my Globbs Explains video and it will explain everything. I believe the Pershing has around between 8 to 10 degrees of gun depression. Don't quote me on that though, because I'm not 100% sure. I probably should have checked the facts and stats before I started making the replay, really. But I know it's a decent amount of gun depression. And it allows him to put a nice, decent shot, a second shot into that Comet. That's a really good trade. If you look at the stats at the top, he's put 473 damage into that Comet for only about 100 in return. The 90mm gun on this thing can put out a decent amount of DPM. Fully kitted out, it's got around a 7-second reload, which is pretty good. The accuracy's not that great and the aim time's okay. But it's a good, pokey, ridgeline fighting medium tank. Now, looking at the deployment of the team then, if we just scan over to the map, I'll just expand it for you. They've evidently made a prominent push to the middle, and also pretty okay rush towards the ice road. But the guys up on the ice road in our team look like they can handle it. They've got a Borsig, a Hellcat, it looks like a heavy tank, but we seem to be losing the middle. Now, I've just recently shown a replay of me in an E25 where I basically win the game by capping. I don't mean I win the game completely for the team, but my actions result in the actual victory by capping. And the enemy team could have done watching that video. Alright, that's all I'm going to say for now. This T-34 Unicum stat player doesn't really have a very good game. Not going to name and shame him, but he is a purple player. If you saw the name at the start. But we all have crappy games. To be honest with you, he could have been a lot better off with hindsight if he was down with those Cromwells working that ridge. He's not really a very good corner fighting tank in T-34. It's an absolute beast at hull down though, and he's kind of got himself in a position where he's getting outplayed. That Super Pershing surprised the hell out of IceMan. We didn't know that Super Pershing was there until he appeared. So that's changed things slightly. I'm going to have to excuse myself here. You notice I've coughed a few times in the replay, I've been sniffling. My hay fever is causing absolute havoc. The current weather system in this country, basically England's had all of its summer in one day. On the Wednesday of this week, this video will be coming out on the Friday or the Thursday. It reached 37 degrees Celsius, which in England is... Now, notice the Ferdinand in chat. He's saying GG. He thinks this game's over. This game ain't over, because IceMan ain't finished yet. IceMan's not finished at all. The enemy started to cap. Unfortunately, the T-34 one turret proves to be a little bit too much there. The enemy started to cap, and they're going to regret this decision. Alright, they leave the cap circle. I would love to be a fly on the wall in the enemy chat room right now. I bet they're all saying, oh, no cap, kill all, no cap, kill all. IS-3 against IS-3 on the ice road. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a one-on-one fight between them, unless that Cromwell decides to get involved. What we're basically doing here, we're corner fighting with the Pershing. It's not the Pershing's strength. This isn't the Pershing strength, but IceMan's making it work. The turret is quite bouncy, and he's got his hull armour nicely angled. So he's not in an advantageous position, but he's got options here. That Jagdpanther needs to die, though. That Jagdpanther 2 needs to die. Alright, he's got a very powerful gun. Hopefully the KB3 keeps him fighting. No! Where did we take that hit, actually? Yeah, he plants a meaty shot through the side of the turret. If you get shot in the turret front, the gunman looks very good on this tank, but if you get shot in the cheeks from that angle, it's going to go through. A gun like a tank, tier 8 tank destroyer gun is just going to make it look like the turret's made out of chocolate. So we kind of can't beat... Oh, that one bounced. Where did that bounce? Looked like... Yep, gun mantlet. Yeah, classic example. IceMan reversed at the perfect position there, and the Jagdpanther 2 hit the gun mantlet, so that's quite a lot of spaced armour there. It looks reasonably thick. So IceMan doesn't want any of this. He takes behind him, makes sure he's got a clear route back, and this position's no bueno now. I think his idea of doing this was to pull the enemy tanks around the corner, and it works. He gets himself in another good position, and then this Unicum player... well-angled front plate there, kudos to him. However, he's not in a good position. That is not a good position to be in a T-34 at all. Well, especially when you've got two barrels facing you, because whatever happens, he's going to take a hit from one of them. Again, apologies for the sniffle. I cannot get over this hay fever. I've had 2 histamine tablets today. It's been absolutely wrecking me. And there's that Jagdpanther 2 again. Now, Mr. Unicum and his little T-34 friend get a bit brave. Unfortunately, they're not as brave as each other. The T-34 won. No. Nice bit of right-click aiming ends his game. And then we get the managed to reload, turn round for Mr. T-34. We take a hit though. It puts us down to 192 health. However, we're going to beat his reload at best. At absolute best, the T-34 has about a 13-second reload. Maybe 12.5. Well, we managed to take you out cleanly there. Alright, so what's been going on while we've been doing this then? Well, the enemy have basically gone back to the cap and they're taking the poor old Super Pershing apart. And this is where IceMan narrowly misses his game over. That's actually not a bad screenshot there. Click. Yeah, just misses. And he does something that I need to something I need to tell you guys about, okay? Some of the guys that aren't really that skilled within the game, should I say, and are a bit new to the game. Shell selection. He's facing a hull down Jagdpanther 2 with 180mm of penetration on his standard ammo. But the Jagdpanther 2's got 28 health. Watch this. What he does, he forces a reload, and he reloads high explosive ammunition. Waits for it to reload, and then bang. He doesn't need to penetrate, okay? Because high explosive does damage regardless of whether it pens, right? Depending on the amount of armour that it hits. Alright, basically the more armour that it hits, the less damage it does to you. Okay. Has anyone seen what the scores are? There's 5 enemy tanks left on the enemy team, and IceMan's on his own in a Pershing with 192 health. I told you this one was going to be a doozy. Okay, so have you noticed chat as well? Come at me, bro. Yada yada yada. Whatever else. Yeah. What should they be doing right now, ladies and gentlemen? They should be capping. Alright, they should be capping and dragging IceMan out, but they don't. Alright, even the Cromwells are saying, oh, you're going to die, you've only got 190 health. Yeah. Now, this is the point where I nearly choked on my dinner. I was eating my chicken and noodles when I was, well, I'm on a healthy sort of detox diet from Tankfest. Chicken and noodles. I nearly choked now. Why did you not fire APCR ammunition? I was screaming at the monitor to reload your APCR gold ammo. But turns out he doesn't need it. Really lucky track shot there. The IS-3 got a little bit cocky, a little bit overconfident. And it looks to me like he's mistimed his attack because the Cromwells arrive a little bit too late. Check this out. He just rammed the Cromwell B with his arse and managed to kill him. Okay, this is good. Managed to put a shot into that Cromwell. The Cromwell's bouncing because he's angling his armour. IceMan's doing everything right now, and he prioritises. This is another bit of a gem of intellect for the IceMan here. He's targeting the Type 58. He's not worried about the Cromwell. The Cromwell can't really defeat his armour. He's already proven that he can't do it, and he's backing off. So what he needs to do is put a shot into the Type 58 while the Cromwell's being a bit of a fanny. Alright, he's giving him a chance to reload. Type 58 takes the hit. Cromwell misses. Oh, not so cocky now, Mr. Cromwell. Plants another shot into him. Using a lot of right-click aiming here while he's traversing his hull. That's another good tip when you're brawling. And
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
yeah, well that worked. Didn't work for the Reds though, did it? And this is the thing about the enemy team now. They actually show quite a bit of decorum in chat. Alright, they actually quite start laughing about it, finding it quite amusing. Now IceMan's got a decision. The T150 is a red player. Alright, not taking anything away from a red player, but he's not the greatest. He's only had 2,000 games. Alright, chances are he's not going to be that experienced. But he can't... IceMan's got a bit of a conundrum here. He's only on 48 health and he can't really afford to leave the cap zone. If he goes trundling off down to the enemy cap and the T150 is already up here, bearing in mind he was last spotted on the Glacier Road, he could be making his way up to the cap circle. So IceMan's got to come back and think about whether or not the enemy's going to cap. Because if he ends up being lighted down in H7 and the enemy starts to cap, he's probably not going to have a lot of time to get back. The Pershing could probably make it from J7 area, but no, but we spot him. Ha-ha! Everything just seems to be going right. We get spotted in turn, which is no big deal. Alright, we're time to outplay this guy. Right, can we spot him? No, we can't see him. Okay. Now, we've dropped off the radar. This is the point. This is... we were last spotted on this side of the rock. Alright? A player of a lesser skill level, right, a red player, or orange player, something like that, and got a lot of experience, will still be aiming his gun at this position. What we need to do, if we can't see him, we've dropped off his radar as well, so he's now driving blind. So what we need to do is get vision on him as quick as we can, using hard cover, the rock. Get vision on him, see whether we can see him. No, just have a little pokey. He's a slow tank, T150. Can we see him? There he is, quickly before he reacts. Put a shot in and back off. He doesn't even fire. Alright, he doesn't even have a chance to see him. And he's still, if we zoom out a little bit, he's pointing his gun at the last known position of IceMan. Alright, and he's only using the dirt gun anyway. Alright, or the short-barreled gun, whatever that is. And he's still looking at the last known location where he last spotted him, and IceMan is going to go the other way. I'll keep it on the zoomed out mode. Keep it zoomed out. He's still looking. Use the gun depression. Misses the shot. He was aiming that at the cupola. Now the guys, this is risky now. We're in the latter stage of the game, but the guy decides to charge him, which means...
Enemy armor is destroyed.
Turret cheeks. Happy days are here again. Okay. That showed a little bit of everything, that replay. I am massively impressed with IceMan's performance there, and I hope you are too. Let's have a look at that game in the post-game stats then. Yeah. That's enough medals, I reckon. Not a bad outing in the Pershing then. Managed to net him his second class, what do you call those now? Battle tags or gun barrel tags or whatever they are. Just means you're a badass in the tank, basically. Marks of excellence, that's the word. You've got a mastery badge, ace tanker, 5 for effect, shell proof, duelist, hand of God, bruiser, Radley Walters medal, Spartan, steel wall, high caliber, Top Gun, and the absolute mecca of medals. This is the one that everybody goes for, because this is the one where you really show your skill when you outplayed enemies. A Kolobanov's medal is that medal where you fight against 5 enemy tanks, or more than 5 enemy tanks, or self-propelled guns like it says there, and actually win the game. Alright, and it says in his replay description, I'll just pop it down there for you. This game was nice. I was lucky with my opponents, but I'm still fairly proud of my first Kolobanovs. Lucky with your opponents? I don't think so, mate. You conserved your health in the early stages of the game. You put your gun to work. You played to your strengths. You took a bit of damage. You made a few mistakes, but then you just kicked their asses when they all came at you one at a time. I don't think you were lucky with your opponents at all. If they had worked at a team, maybe they could have taken you out, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. On the team score list then, just under 1,500 base experience on a tier 8 game. When you're top tier, that's really, really good. You tend to do a little bit better than that in tier 10s if you did the equivalent in tier 10, but as a tier 8 game, 4,000 damage, that's amazing. Alright, and a detailed report, he actually made money, because guess what, he didn't fire any of the gold shells. The gold shells in this tank cost a bloody fortune. You don't make no money in Pershy if you fire no gold. It's ridiculous. Managed to bounce 1,600 points of damage. With regards to accuracy was okay. Missed 3 shots, and pretty much the tank was performing like a Pershing gun. Managed to do 4,000 damage. So yeah, there's IceMan in his first ever Kolobanovs, and you've got yourself on YouTube, buddy. Congrats to you, man. All right, take care of yourselves, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye now.